Hello everyone, my name is Dawn and thank you for joining me in setting up this monthly review in my bullet journal. So I wanted to add one final pop-up spread for the theme that I've been doing this month, and I learnt from my previous mistakes and have decided to cover the paper first rather than try and work around the mechanisms. So I've selected these scrapbooking papers that were from a paper set from The Works, I believe, here in the UK. And I've used glue tape just to stick them down to the page. And from here, I'll start to build up the pop-up mechanism that I want to use. So this spread is going to be a monthly review, end of month kind of spread. And I don't really need a huge amount of space to write. So I'm going to be able to use a lot of the space on this pop-up mechanism. So I've chosen an arch design. And it's quite a tall kind of rainbow arch shape, and there's this triangular fold mechanism in the middle, and that fold, along with the folds on either ends and the angle that they're stuck to the page, is what's going to make it pop up when the book is opened and close up when it's closed. And I just put a little bit of glue tape on those tabs just so that I could work out where I wanted the mechanism to be most effective. So as you can see, originally I'd folded those end tabs at like parallel folds to the end of the paper, and when I go in with the glue, I've decided to put a very slight angle on those folds, and it's just going to help the arch be a little bit less upright when the book opens. And that means it's going to be, because it's kind of folding back away from you, it will be easier to see all the decorations rather than it just being straight up. Easier in person, and also easier for you to see from this top-down view. So I'm using my E8000 glue just to secure those tabs, and folding the pages to glue them so that I know that they're in the right place. There we go. And as you can see, it kind of sits back a little bit, which makes it easier to see. So as usual, there's lots of page closing and burnishing to make sure the glue sticks really well. I'm continuing with this magical theme, and I'm using mostly PET or PET stickers in this pop-up spread, and they were from Journal Say. So here I'm just working out what I want to use and where I want to use them. I've got two of these window stickers that are quite magical and really nice, and I'm just laying down some crystal effect stickers that will sit a little bit behind the window. So I'm just working out where I want everything. And then once I've decided, I'll be able to peel off the backings and stick them on. So for some reason, I'm not quite sure why I did this, I decided that I was going to peel the backs off the stickers, stick them on the arch, and then keep the backs and stick the backs of the stickers back onto the sticker and onto the back of the arch with a little bit of glue to stop the sticker, the parts of sorry, this is hard to explain, to stop the parts of the sticker that weren't attached to the arch to stop them from sticking to other things, other parts of the mechanism and book when the page is closed. Maybe I would have been better just not peeling the stickers off and using glue just to stick them straight onto the arch. That probably would have been a better idea, and I do that a little bit later on. But for some reason, this was the way I was going, so we just carried on with this. And get those Windows stickers down. So I hadn't really fully planned where I wanted everything to go in advance with this layout, and it's my very first time making a arch mechanism pop-up. So again, feeling it out, same as with the first spread, the calendar spread I did. Just working through, finding out what works, what doesn't, and how best to do things. And I've wanted to do a pop-up spread in my bullet journal for quite a while. I think I said in the very first video that it had always been an ambition. But I think when I looked in 2020 or 2021, there wasn't really that many people doing these kinds of mechanisms. So it was kind of just difficult to work out how everything worked. Now it's much better. When I looked online, there's lots of videos on TikTok, lots of videos here on YouTube, lots of pop-up cards that you can draw inspiration from. So this was a lot easier to work out. And the overall effect at the end is really quite spectacular. It looks crazy because there's so much going on, but it's pretty simple to make, really. So here I'm just folding the book. I found this book sticker and I folded it in half because I wanted it to fit in that central crease of the arch, and I was just closing the book there just to make sure that it fit inside, it wasn't overhanging. And I'm working out where I want my stickers, how I want them to kind of float off of this arch mechanism. And I decide at this point that I want to add a couple of those box pop-up mechanisms that I used in the initial calendar spread, just to add a little bit more depth to the page and a few more like pop-up elements. So I folded this piece of offcut from my journal, and it's evenly spaced between the folds, so that when you glue it together and you double fold it like this, then it can fold every way it needs to, basically. And again with this one, so they're just equal measurements all the way around. I think this one was like maybe 4 or 5 dot grid spaces, the other one might have been 6, or vice versa. So this is where I want them, and I'm kind of thinking that I want them to kind of come in a little bit. There we go. And then I'll use the glue tape just to temporarily stick them down so as that I can check that everything's going to fold neatly. I am aware that I'm adding a lot of bulk to my journal, but you know, adding these pop-up designs. But I don't really use a lot of junk journaling or scrapbooking materials. Like I'll occasionally use scrapbook paper and stickers, washi tape, but I don't really I don't put fabric in, I don't put anything else that's bulky, very rarely use card or watercolour paper or anything like that. So we'll see how the journal holds up. This is an Archer and Olive journal, so it's going to be a really good test on the structural integrity of the binding. So again, just folding and checking that that's going to work, and then as I'm folding over I can see where little pieces are catching, where maybe there's a bit of the sticker still exposed, so I have to go and adjust that. And we'll stick this other one down. Again, making sure that it's folded equally all the way around, so that it's going to line up when it's either when it's open or when it's folded closed. So it might look a little bit fiddly, but it wasn't actually that bad work, you know, to work on. Little sneak peek of the August title there on the next page. So this will be the last spread in my July setup. And again, I'm going to use some of that same scrapbooking paper from the paper set that I used on the background, just to cover those boxes. There will be stickers going over the top of them, of course. So I've really enjoyed using this spread this month, and actually writing on it from a functional viewpoint. It's been okay. It hasn't been too bad at all. I haven't really noticed any problems whilst filling in my dailies and things like that, and my trackers. I would say the biggest obstacle, if you want to call it that, was when I was doing my second line highlights for the trackers. I was aware that it was a little bit bumpy, so it was a little bit harder to get a nice even straight line for the second line highlights, but that's okay. I don't mind that. Okay, so boxes are covered, and now another little check with the fold, and now we're gonna add some stickers. So I found this kind of magical book sticker that I wanted to place on the upright of the box here, and this really cute white cat with crystals that I wanted to place on the other. And this one, I want it to look like the cat is sitting kind of on the surface of the book. So I'm just cutting a section out of the back of the sticker so I can place the cat kind of on a fold almost. There we go. There he is. And now I'm going to start building up the layers. I wanted to have this effect where some of the stickers are floating. They're kind of like, almost as if they're kind of levitating, as if by magic. So I folded the corner off of some of the stickers. I've got these like witchy hats. And I'm just working out where I want to place that. And here I go with off the corner of that central book. This was a little bit of a challenge because the glue was a little bit wet still, so they would slip a little bit. But once the glue was tacky on both sides, it becomes like, well, it is a contact adhesive. So then when you press the sides together, once they're tacky, they hold really well. So I'm placing these around. I had this little tabby cat in a witch hat that I really wanted to use. So just, yeah, again, making sure everything's where I want it. If it falls off, stick it back on again. And they are, you know, it's now the start of August when I'm doing this voiceover, and all the stickers are still very much stuck to the arch. I haven't had any casualties yet. So the glue is really strong, although it is this really strange. It's gone this weird yellow colour because it's I've had it a while. So I've got a pile of books that I'm sticking on the upright of the box. And then I folded this other pile of books and we'll stick it on there. So I'm just kind of layering everything up and making sure that there's space in between the stickers, both horizontally and vertically, I guess is the best way to describe it. And then I've decided where I want my cat, so we pop him on. And then I'm going to let that adhesive dry a little bit before we pop him on for certain so he doesn't fall off. So I've got these postcards that are from the same paper set from the works, and I'm using these as the spaces where I am going to be actually writing my end of month review and making this spread functional, because it's not just pretty, it has to have a purpose as well. So again, using glue tape just to stick those down. And I have this little magical cottage sticker that I'd earmarked that I wanted to go down on that corner, so he goes down there. And this owl that I knew from the very beginning that I wanted to feature this month. And I cut this book sticker out of the PET tape that I used in the first layout. Put that in the center, and also this little holographic star garland, which you can't see very well in this, but you will see at the end. Just because I wanted something a little bit sparkly and to have some kind of effect at the back of the page so it didn't look too empty. And here I'm just separating off where I want to put my little tabby cat in his witch's hat. So he sits there. And again, check that everything lines up, and it does. Very excited about the end result. And here I'm adding the title. So I've used one of those acrylic stamps just to stamp in the M and the R. I didn't want to do the whole word in the stamps because they are quite large. So I'm just freehanding a serif font here with my Edis Gold gel pen. Just to get the monthly review title down. And a little tip, if you're drawing a serif font and you don't want to put pencil lines down because sometimes you can't erase them depending on what pen you're using, you can just start with the main body of the font, leave the serifs until last, and use the serifs as you're finishing to even up the height size. You can use them as a guide. So that brings us towards the end of this setup. There we go, just finishing off the serifs. And I'll give you a quick little flip through or a little look around the pop-ups. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me. If you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe, or share this video to somebody that you think may enjoy it. And I'll see you next time. Bye!